Hey, Paul and Nisha, you know what? I wanted to send you a little congratulations, a little way to go. Especially to Paul, you snuck one past the goalie.
If you haven't seen my previous video, I'm a dad. I had a boy. I'm not sure what Brian means by snuck one past the goalie. Is Nisha the goalie? Why is he pulling that face? Is this going to be hard or something? Wow. I'm on paternity leave, and the best people in the universe got together and made a whole bunch of videos for me to share with you guys. And so without further ado, here are the top 7 smart home automations of all time from some of the best YouTube creators on the internet. Let's watch it together so that I can be in the video. Yay. Because I can't stand the thought of not being in it. My ego is a problem.
Hey Paul, welcome to Dad Life. For Christmas, my daughter really wanted a makeup vanity in her room, but she was pretty much out of space, so we decided to build it into her closet. Unfortunately, there wasn't any built-in lighting in that space and definitely no option for multi-zone lighting. So my solution was to use WS2814 addressable RGBW strips mounted under each shelf in the side closet areas, and then a long strip inside of a diffuser in the main vanity area. Each section is then defined as a segment in WLED that can be individually controlled. But since there also weren't any switches, I decided to control the lights using an AQARA FP2 millimeter wave motion sensor to detect when somebody walks into that main vanity area, which then turns on the light. And then for each side closet area, I installed an AQARA door and window sensor with one side on the door casing and then the other side sewn into the curtains.
Could have thought of that. The oldest trick in the book, innit? Sew a contact sensor into a curtain. Shut up, Rob. You clever ideas.
And so when you pull the curtain back, it instantly turns on the lights in the side closet section, and closing the curtain turns it off. If you were to theoretically forget to close the curtain and step away from the closet, the FP2 motion sensor also turns off the side closet lights until the next time you walk into the vanity area. And I've been pretty blown away by how accurately the single FP2 can track multiple people's position within the same room. And I predict a bunch more of these are going to pop up all throughout my house.
If you haven't seen Rob from the hookup, his channel is unreal. Home Assistant stuff through the wazoo and the most unbelievable reviews in depth of projectors and projector screens and every kind of technology. Check him out, he's awesome.
Hello, Automators. Thank you for watching this, and thank you for Paul for letting me come on here, share one of my automation ideas with you. Now, my favorite thing about this personally is that this can be a layer of automation on top of other automations. But the biggest benefit is that it's allowed me to create this visual custom timer for my kid when it's time to come and eat, or time to get off Fortnite, quite frankly.
Ridiculous, Brian. No one in their right mind is ever going to set up anything like that in order to time something, especially not me. Ignore that. It's nothing. This segment is now over.
Now, what you'll need for this is an LED strip that allows you to leave segments of the strip dark or unlit. And then you'll need to be able to create scenes with that in the app. Those scenes synchronize into Amazon's voice assistant, and then I can use them to create this great little custom timer. Each scene is placed in between a wait command. So you could build this to any custom length that you would like. And you don't have to start this with a voice command. It could be as simple as a button, a door opening. But for those of you who want to get a little more advanced, you can layer this on top of other automations. And that's a whole other idea for you. You can start to build these custom timers for the different situations in your life today though. So for now, I'm gonna turn it back over to Paul and the rest of the folks in the video. Thanks for watching my idea. I hope it helped, and of course, live smart.
In complete seriousness, that is the best idea ever, and I bloody well love it. I'm installing that right this second. I mean, it's doing it now. Look at that! I love that!
Yo, what's up, Paul and Paul's audience? Thanks so much for having me today. My favorite smart home automation right now would probably be my outdoor back gate automation. So this is great, especially if you have dogs or anything. I'm using this a lot as the weather's getting warmer. What I have is basically contact sensors that I've weatherproofed on both of my gates in my backyard. I'm just using some cheap AQARA door sensors that I put in little weatherproof boxes out there on my gates.
I didn't think of that. If the manufacturers won't make waterproof contact sensors for Apple HomeKit, just make it yourself. Alright, mate. Bit much, wasn't it?
And I set up some automations that will basically turn a couple little status lights inside my house on to a certain color when those gates are open. That just lets everybody in the house know that, you know, the gate is open. And then when both of them are closed, those lights will turn off. And then I took it a step further. I wanted to get some custom notifications if one of the gates were open for an extended period of time. Maybe somebody forgot to shut it. So what I did was create an automation that will send me a custom notification if either one of those gates is open for longer than 5 minutes. And this notification will give me two options. I can either immediately call my wife, that's one of the options, or I can open up the camera that is associated with the backyard or those gates to kind of take a look at what's going on. And I'm able to create this automation using essentially a combination of things. I'm using a HomeKit automation with the convert to shortcut feature. And then I'm using a PushCut app as well as the HomeCam app. So the PushCut app is what I'm using to send me that custom notification. And then the HomeCam app is what I'm using to, you know, enable that pop-up of the camera feed through my shortcut. And yeah, this works great at helping make sure our dogs don't get out when they're not supposed to. I hope that's helpful. Thanks again, Paul, for having me.
Oh, hey, I didn't see you there.
That's my merch. They're right using my merch. I had to print this specially. It doesn't exist, you can't buy these.
So one of my favorite automations is when I'm watching TV and someone comes to the door and presses the doorbell. Not only will it show up who's there at the door on the TV, but it will also pause the TV if I'm currently watching something. So the way this works is I'm using Home Assistant as my hub since it integrates really well with the doorbell and the Apple TV that I'm using. And so it knows if something's playing on the Apple TV and it can pause it when someone presses the doorbell. That's how the automation works. Then after I answer the door, I can come sit back down, continue watching whatever rubbish I was watching before.
Whatever rubbish he was watching. Perhaps it was a video from 2 years ago by somebody more handsome and brilliant. Yeah, that's right. I did it first. In all honesty, Reed's awesome. Go watch his videos and buy his merch. You can get his merch at paulhibbert.co.uk.
One of my favourite automations in my smart home is the morning and nighttime routine. Starting with my bedroom lamps, which start gradually brightening over a 15-minute period, just as a nice gentle wake up to start the day. And then once I get out of bed, the giant set of scales that are under the bed kicks off a couple of key actions. Firstly, it opens the blinds in the bedroom, turns on the heating for the rest of the house if needed, and disarms the house alarm. Then as I walk down the stairs, the blinds open and I have an announcement on my kitchen speaker which reads out the weather information along with my upcoming events for the day from my local calendar.
Your upcoming events for today are the Unicorn Farming Workshop and Haggis Chasing World Championships.
Finally, as I'm heading back up the stairs, the blinds open in the office, lights turn on and the computer wakes up from sleep, ready for me to start work for the day. The nighttime routine is pretty much the inverse of this. And again, the bed sensor is the key to making this work and detects when we get into bed for the night, makes sure that the doors are locked, turns off the heating, closes any blinds, turns off any lights, switches or TVs that were left on, and finally sets the alarm for the night. This automation is genuinely one of the most impactful automations for us in our smart home and makes it so that all of those little things that we all probably do every morning and night are taken care of automagically and don't get forgotten.
So what Lewis is saying is he's completed the smart home and there's no point doing anything else. Ask the Home Assistant community how he achieved it.
It's perfectly simple. Climb inside the rabbit hole that is Home Assistant. Discover that that doesn't make any sense and you need to climb into a rabbit hole inside the rabbit hole of Home Assistant. Climb inside the rabbit hole that you'll find in that rabbit hole, where you'll find 4 more rabbit holes. Climb into the 4th rabbit hole and die.
Hey Paul, thanks so much for having me on. Now around my house I have a few different automations where I have motion sensors that when you walk past it at a certain time of the day, it will turn on lights. But I wanted to show you something that's a little bit more cool, which is right here in my kids' room. So let's take a look at the routine real quick. Here in the routine section, you can see at the top I have a custom command, and that is to start playing white noise. Then I have it go through and turn off different lights in the room. I have it turn on different lamps, and then after a certain period of time, it turns off certain lights, and then the automation ends. So let's go ahead and see that in action. Night, night. So it starts beginning with the white noise over there, and then you'll see all the lights and the blinds change, just like that. And now over here we have our night light that allows us to read a book for a little bit more. And then once we're done, we know it is time to go to bed. And then we have the little glow light that's a great night light until she falls asleep. And then it will turn off once she is asleep. So I know that's really simple, but that is actually one of my favorite automations because we use it every day and it works so well. I also have another automation where it's automatically turning on certain lights like the rainbow light during the next day when we're getting ready for bed. So everything's set up and ready to go for the next night. Thanks so much for watching. See you on the next one.
Awesome. Baby Paul and I will make use of that every day, won't we, Baby Paul?
Yes.
All Hibbert men are born as fully grown adults.
Right, Paul, you want to know my favourite automation? And you know what that is? I've got a flick button by my bed that I can press that connects me directly to you, and I can whisper sweet nothings to both you and your wife whilst you're in bed.
Disgusting.
But aside from that, my favourite automation is nothing to do with me at all. It's to do with my kids. Now, I always dreamt of having an absolutely mad room when I was a kid, but it was just a bed and a cardboard box in the corner.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
So I've gone all out and added smart home automations to my children's room, starting with these buttons. Now these are just 3D printed shells I've added to a flick button. And when I press the flick button for this one, watch what happens. So that turns blue. You've got little waves over there on the wall, and if we just come over here, that turns blue as well. And the sound of waves appears over the Alexa device, which is up there. But that's not it. If I press this button here, that turns yellow. The waves have gone off. That's turned green. And there's a moon up there. And the sound of the jungle comes on in the background, creating a kind of jungle aesthetic. And that is like a little jungle treehousey thing with her bed underneath there. I absolutely love this. And I've tried to convince the wife to let me put these automations in our room, but she's having absolutely none of it, unfortunately.
Filth!
But there's amazing things that you can do for kids with smart home automations, and if you aren't already, you should absolutely grab yourself a couple of LED strips, a couple of buttons, and create something really fun and accessible for the children to create these amazing worlds. Hold on, there's one more button.
Massive thank you to everybody involved in today's video. I'm trying to get 4 weeks ahead because I want to do 4 weeks of paternity and it's hell. YouTube's algorithm is evil and this gives me one more video and it's been really easy to make thanks to these guys. As usual, I'd also like to thank my patrons, and specifically this week, Robert Bruch. He's my most recent patron, so thanks to him. Honestly, without you, I would be working in a call centre. If you want to be one of these incredible people, you can do that at either Patreon or buy me a one-off beer at PayPal, and either way, I would genuinely love you forever. These are my Facebooks, my X's, my Threads, my Instagrams, and my TikToks. Come and hang out there and can be best friends. See you next time. That's my merch. No right using my merch. That's crap.